everyone. Welcome to Redbus TS channel. In this video, we'll look at the latest news announcement from US Department of State, where they're adding more US visa types to the social media vetting. This is in addition to the H1B, F1 and others. So we'll look at what the new changes are and what kind of impact it will have on current existing H1B, F1, other visa applicants. We'll look at some hard numbers based on how many have the US the Department of State has processed and what kind of impact it can have on H1B, H4 and B1, B2 visa holders as well. Sorry, not B1, B2 and other visa types as well, right? So again, this is effective from March 25th, and it was announced today. It will be effective from March 30th. So that's what we'll look at in this video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, do subscribe for getting regular updates. So this is the news. You can check it out on the US Department of State website on March 25th, right? So we'll look at this and the impact that it will have on each of these things, right? So just to give you a background on what things have progressed in the last few months, right? It started in June, and in June 2025, when everything started, where there were a lot of visa cancellations of F1, FMJ, and then they basically reopened the visa slots for them. And then at that time, they introduced the concept of social media vetting. And the whole idea was that, they mentioned that every US visa decision is a national security decision. And so they're going to look at everything very closely because of the various things that happened across university campuses and all of that. That's how everything started, right? And after that, there were some other incidents that happened. And then, in December, they extended this to H1B and H4 visa holders. With this advanced or expanded vetting, they call it, right? Which is nothing but you open up your social media profile and all of that. They'll take that data and do additional checks, and then issue visa, right? So now what is happening today is they're introducing or expanding the scope of this from existing few visa types to a new 14 visa types. That's what they're doing, and visa types, and this will be effective from March 30th. And the key intent is you need to set the social media profile to public. That's the main ask, right? So these are the list of 14 new visa types that are added to the social media vetting or additional screening, whatever you call them, right? Many of these, if you see like A3, C3, so these are a big segment of visa types, right? Like some of them who are accompanying diplomats, some of them, so H4, for example, here, the context of this H4 is dependent of H3. So I won't go into the details of all of them, right? So religious workers, dependents of R1, all of these, right? So all of these visa types now, if they're applying for a visa at a consulate, they will be, they need to actually open up their social media profiles and all of that. That's what they need to do. And this is effective March 30th. So this is exactly what the announcement says, right? Expanded online presence, right? So what all these visa type applicants need to do is they need to make their social media profiles as public or open. Essentially, you can't have a private kind of a setting. You need to open up that so that all the posts that you have done should be visible to anybody. Essentially, what they will do is they use probably behind the scenes some of these systems to basically pick up whatever you have been messaging and then do that. So basically, essentially, again, it's just basically like you basically have to look at your profile, and it's not really recommended to basically remove anything on that, but basically you need to look at things and ensure that everything is matching. But the whole intent is you shouldn't be really manipulating anything on your profile. I think that's the intent. You just have to let it be the way it is. So that way, it basically is the real intent, right? Again, this will apply for new renewal, all of these, right? So you just have to do it before the appointment and all of that, so that they can do all of this, right? Now, in terms of impact, right? So the impact is an important part for us to look at it, right? So if you see the impact for all of these visa types in terms of what kind of impact it can have is if we looked at data from the US Department of State annual report, right? And as you can see on the screen, K1 fiancé is about 47,000. All of these put together 70,000, right? This is what the numbers speak. It could be slightly higher, plus or minus. These are extracted from the reports from that US Department of State has given. But give or take, this is the number of visa applicants that will be impacted. This was 2024. more. Could be higher or lower, depending on, because now we are in FY 2026, right? So that's why things could be slightly different. But just to get an understanding of, so this many new applications or plus or minus around this would be now subject to these things, right, globally. So just to get to a scale, right, what does that compared with the H1B and other visa types is this that you see on the screen, right? Like basically for H visas, it was 359,000. F visas is 424,000, and J visas 355. So this is a big number that are already. So about 1.1 million visa types are already being like basically added, right? And now we are doing is we are just adding the 72,000 to that, so it comes to 1.2 million. So the scale of this new change, while even though it says about there are about 14 visa types, it's not really like a huge number because it's merely 6% more applicants added to the vetting pool. So it's just a broader scope. There's a moderate volume, right? So what we can expect is some marginal delays, especially for H1B and others who are already part of this process and who've been going through some of these challenges. Is that just increases the workload by about maybe 6 to 10%. Let's take it, right, not more than that, right? So you can see marginal. Impact in the processing times. There will be obviously constant pressure. There are no slots right now for H1Bs and all of that have been like basically stuck for a very long time. So all of these will add up to the existing, appointment availabilities and existing workload, all of that. So if you already have an appointment and expect to see some delays, and that's what possible. If you get a 220 more delays, it'll add up another 10%. That's what it is. So it's not going to be, when you look at 14 visa types, you're going, oh my God, no more visa types are added now. Is it going to get worse? But technically, looking at the numbers, it doesn't look that bad. So we just have to wait and see how this will have an impact, right? So overall, the key takeaway, right, is if you are part of any of these visa types, new 14 or other ones, set all your social medias to public. Basically, the idea is you want to ensure that everything is in line with what you're saying and all of that. So, so there are no new changes, especially for H1B or F1, all of that, right? There's just an increase in waiting load and there'll be marginal delays at the consulates. So again, this is the quick update. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do subscribe for getting regular updates. Thank you for watching.